Might this little situation end up stopping one of the biggest plots of Dragon Ball Super? Hey folks, Marsico X here. April Fool's here in 2018, where this began. I mean, yeah, come on, we could do with a laugh. And I'm not talking about April Fool's starting in 2018, it's just this is where this practice started then, and what we're doing here today. Back then, I decided to dedicate that special day to a what if from then on that could have no restrictions put upon it. In short, it was able to do whatever it wanted to do, the story, without any limitations that we usually wish to put upon ourselves in said medium in order to keep things grounded within the lore. For this tale, the very first fantastical tale, we took to the world of DBZ Movie 10, where Broly was brought back for a second time, and that movie ended up being arguably one of the dullest movies in the franchise. I mean, save for the family Kamehameha, I mean, yeah, that's kind of cool and iconic. But either way, in this tale, the idea of Broly being entombed in ice is something that doesn't sound so far-fetched at all. In fact, it's quite tame for this sort of thing, and it leads to the idea of the original Super Saiyan Broly becoming a good guy, and the big lug getting a chance to shine, just as much as the new version of him gets to do. This version of Broly had the chance to fix himself in the head, and now he had become the pupil of Vegeta, who had more potential and active duty under him than Kaba ever could. Since the day that this Broly one-shotted the Buu Saga out of existence, he has slowly become very valuable to the team, right up there with the other full Saiyans. A roster without him in this story would now be utterly unthinkable. That is until future Trunks showed up, and well, okay, yeah, technically Hit had goaded him too, meaning that Broly lost his cool. The powers of Super Saiyan Blue were quite clearly messing around with Broly's mind, and its integrity was slowly starting to lose its efficacy. And when Trunks arrived properly, it completely disappeared. And if Whis hadn't been there, yeah, the Earth might have been lost to this temper tantrum with future Trunks being there. Yeah, this Broly remembering him from the events of movie 8. And for a while, things had cooled down until the previous installment. In that last part, things had been quite frenetic. Merged Zamasu was too powerful for the group in their separate components. And as a result, we saw the arrival of the Dragon Ball Fusion's creation of Karoli, the fusion of Broly and Goku. This power was enough to send the attendant of Goasu into a fit of absolute rage, apoplectically so, and him losing complete interest in his Zero Mortal plan. I didn't think that was possible. We then have another fusion of the dancing variety, and the father-son combination of Vegetunk steps in, and through immense counterings and beatings, the mortal portion of merged Zamasu was just starting to come loose at the seams, and as a result, the fusion started to break up, dramatically so, and he was gone. However, the art of fusion, whilst powerful and effective, might not have been a best idea when you've got the likes of Broly knocking around, who was dealing with amnesia, and Goku's hiding memories from him. Yeah. We are doing a little bit of conjecture here, but we're guessing that when fused, the memories of each other meld temporarily, and Broly could look into the mind of Goku, or Kakarot, and found out the truth about why he was drawn to him for all this time. Kakarot had lied to him, but he had also been so kind to him since he got to Earth. Whatever the case though, he had to leave and get off this planet. Now. We resume our story a little bit after he left Earth, and Vegeta was trying to figure out what had happened to make Broly vanish like that, without a single word to anyone. It was very unlike him. He was clearly still in sound mind because apparently when he took said vessel, nobody was harmed, and nobody saw him looking suspicious, irate, or crazy. He'd been quite civil in fact, albeit a little bit snippy with his words, a bit short, but that could happen to anyone. There was no trace of resentment or anger in him. Hence why nobody had reported it until the morning. For hours, he was racking his brain, Vegeta, trying to figure out the cause of this disappearance. Then it dawned on him. Kakarot. He remembers. He gets out of bed, leaving a pregnant Bulma to her slumber in the morning light. She rolled over without sensing her husband leaving, and he was on his way to Mount Paozu. When the prince arrived there, he found Kakarot training on his own, as per usual, but also looking equally baffled at the sight of Vegeta. Kakarot! Vegeta stumps over to his rival and looks at him with a serious expression. Oh, hey Vegeta! What brings you here? You don't usually come here to train. Actually, you've never come here to train.
I have no intention of training with you right now. I figured it out.
Figured what out? Goku blinks.
Why, Broly's gone. He remembers everything from when we first met on that wild goose chase Paragus laid out for us. He knows why you are so important to him. The real reason. And he can't take it.
Goku thinks for a moment and can't explain why he could know. Nobody had told him.
That's the point. It's probably because nobody told him that he's gone rogue. I'd be the same if I were him. All the lies and deceit for so long. That affects him greatly, I imagine.
Goku is now getting curious as to why Vegeta is getting so worried. Why would he even care? He didn't seem like the caring type for such matters. Vegeta then looks at him with an evil glare.
I care because he's my responsibility. I took charge of him, Kakarot, when you wouldn't, or didn't offer yourself. What matters is that we need to find him and set him straight.
As the two of them talk, Piccolo arrives, having heard the conversation just now.
Namekian, would you cease your eavesdropping for once? Alright, I guess you didn't want to hear my idea anyway.
Idea? Mentions Goku. Well, any idea would be great right now.
If trying to calm his mind is what you're looking for, then maybe you could take him somewhere where you can do so. Set his head straight. You mean tell Whis to give him another dose of what he did in front of Trunks?
Mentioned Vegeta. Piccolo shakes his head.
No, that would only be a small bandage or a gaping wound. It will last.
Piccolo looks up and then brings up Yardrat.
Goku, what was that training like? Did it help you focus at all?
Goku thinks for a second, trying to recollect his time there all those years ago. Well, yeah, it did, but it was really boring though. I had to skip most of it when I sensed Frieza was heading for Earth, but, you know, Trunks saved the day. Yeah, well, I guess it could be handy. But we still need to find Broly though, and convince him to come with us for training. Vegeta crosses his arms and offers to go look for him.
I'll go. Like I said, he's my responsibility.
He can see Goku putting his hand up, offering to go with him as well, but the prince shakes his head.
You're the last person who should go. Remember, one look at you might make him blow up wherever we stand. You stay here. Now we just need a lead.
King Kai then decides to interject for the first time since Broly left. I can help you there, Prince. King Kai? Goku stammers. Why didn't I think of asking you before? Yeah, says the king with indignation. Why didn't you? Am I really that forgettable these days? Did you forget that you killed me? Is that how it is, Goku? Huh?
Enough, shouts Vegeta. If you've got any leads, tell us now. Broly is a danger to the universe, King, with the power he's learnt.
With King Kai calmed down, he then informs them that he could sense Broly's energy drifting across the galaxy. With no real destination in particular, he was just drifting around. Towards South Galaxy. Wait. South Galaxy, mutters King Kai. Why does that ring a... Oh no.
We need to go. No!
The gang assume that with his mind so broken right now, he might be regressing back to his more recent memories, prior to his arrival on Earth, and his most recent core memory prior to that. And that was the destruction of South Galaxy. Was he about to decimate it for a second time? Goku transmits Piccolo and Vegeta back to Capsule Corp, and the Prince orders one of the remaining space vehicles to be primed for launch. Goku offers to go with Vegeta one more time, but the Prince ignores him, insisting that he be the one to bring Broly back. When the ship blasts off, Vegeta starts to work the control systems and scanners, locking onto the codes and serial numbers of the ship that Broly had taken. That was a little bit of a help. And luckily, since leaving Earth's atmosphere, and with perhaps hints from King Kai along the way, he was actually able to get a good lock on, and he was now on autopilot in hot pursuit. With everything in place, Vegeta turns around and spots...
Kakarot! What the...
Hey Vegeta! I knew you would take no for an answer, so I decided to answer it for you. I'm coming along. Vegeta is shouting expletives at Goku for minutes on end. But in the end, Goku honestly and sincerely responds as to why he's coming along. This is all my fault, Vegeta. I should have been honest with him from the start. Because of me, he's losing his mind, and he might end up losing more than that if he's not careful. We gotta bring him back and get him to Yardrat. It's our only hope of getting his mind under control for good. Please, believe me, Vegeta. I want to help.
No, you don't want to help him. You want to fight him, don't you? That's why you're here, mutters the Prince, guessing the real reason Goku is here.
No, this is important. I'm serious, Vegeta! Let me help you! He offers his hand to Vegeta to assert this, but the prince turns away. But that being said, he does finally accept Goku being here.
Just don't get in my way, and don't do anything stupid. You got that?
Kakarot nods, and the two now set off for Broly's craft. Together, they get closer and closer to Broly's ship, and after what seem like days, they find it. But instead of landing exactly next to the craft, they decide to land on a nearby planet and transmit to Broly from there. When they get their resolve going, they nod at each other. Are you prepared to do the dance, Vegeta? He blushes and grudgingly nods.
At least nobody that we know can witness it. It's so embarrassing.
With that, they arrive to find Broly screaming at the top of his lungs, green energy spewing from his person in a Marvel-like fashion up into the sky. Its length is as far as the eye can see, its limits beyond measure. Whatever he was doing, it was certainly dramatic.
What is he doing? Ponders Vegeta.
But Goku can make a very solid guess. He's trying to siphon off his overflowing ki, sending it out into space. He must know that his body can't take it, or he's trying to keep himself from losing it. Maybe there's still something left of his fortitude after all.
Let's hope that it doesn't come to anything life-threatening, says Vegeta.
Vegeta carefully flies towards Broly and calls out his name. The arc doesn't cease, and Broly turns his head amidst the green energy.
Vegeta, what are you? Don't do this, Broly! You've come so far! Don't throw it all away! Do not descend to the depths that your father led you all those years ago! You're better than that. We can help you! Let us help you! Please, Broly!
Vegeta looks stern and resolute despite his emotive words. Broly's face starts to soften a little. The shaft of energy starts to shrink a little bit as his expression relaxes. But, yeah, Goku immediately misreads the situation thinking it was all done, flies into view. Before he can even say a word, Broly's face contorts into rage again.
Kakarot! You imbecile, what are you doing? Get out of here! Vegeta, you tricked me! Kakarot!
The arc, instead of shrinking, expands even larger than it was before. It explodes in brilliant white light, and we are met with legendary Super Saiyan Blue Broly at full power. Its eyes white out, and its frame is larger than ever.
Damn it! Why did I even agree to him coming? Kakarot, come and fix your mess!
Kakarot is looking worried, but he promises to help. They both power up to blue, and together they try to stop Broly by force, something they hope they didn't have to do. The ground around them is being torn up second by second as the battle intensifies. The pair of Saiyans do have the upper hand against Broly, but only for the first few moments of the tussle, because it was very clear that Broly's body was pumping out ki faster and faster by the second. Instead of pushing it out of his body like he was doing before, the green energy was now surrounding the Saiyan and being used within its body against his teachers. He was completely and utterly out of control. Goku then pushes into something he had been working on. He hoped it would work. Kaioken Blue. Does it work? Nope. Broly is still beating him down, focusing on him more.
Kakarot!
Vegeta is getting very vivid flashbacks to the days of that time, before Comet Komori decimated that farce of a world that was reportedly New Planet Vegeta. He hoped he would never have to relive those days again, but here he was.
Kakarot!
He shouts.
We have to do that stupid dance! It's the only way to save him!
Goku is surprised to hear Vegeta offering to do this, and in a fit of enthusiasm, kicks Broly out of the way, enough time to transmit to Vegeta, and then fuse into Gogeta. Gogeta gazes at Broly, and the latter stares back without recognition. However, the battle is now pretty conclusive. This Gogeta, instead of the one in Dragon Ball Super Broly, where he was basically a carbon copy of Vegito, was far more methodical and to the point, like in Fusion Reborn. Instead of blustering around like a carbon copy of Vegeta, like I said, Gogeta quietly powers up to blue and starts to overpower Broly, which in turn makes Broly push even more. With one final attack, Broly pulls out an Omega Blaster against Gogeta's Stardust Breaker. The two attacks connect, but the Breaker surges through the blaster like a drop of washing up liquid surging water away. That cool science experiment? It hits Broly and is enough to make his body shudder and shake with pain before sending the body to the floor in a heap, unconscious but alive, for a few seconds. Gogeta watches over him, looking for any signs of movement. After a minute, it was clear that he wasn't going to be getting up anytime soon. Gogeta lands in front of him and places a hand on his forehead. "Broly," he mutters to himself. "Don't give up." When Gogeta defuses, Goku transmits both Vegeta and Broly back to their ship, and they head for Yardrat directly. When they get there, Broly is still out cold, thanks to all the energy that he'd used up. He was injured too, which made him less likely to blow up again. The two Saiyans exit the ship and rush to Bibara's chamber. The Yardratians are surprised to see Goku back again, but they make way for the pair of them to carry Broly to their master's quarters. When Pibara sees the three of them arrive, he hails Goku. "Ah, Son Goku, what a surprise. It's been so long since we last met. Have you come back to finish up your training?"
"Another time perhaps, mister, but we got something we need your help with. Our friend's mind is in danger."
"Danger, you say?"
Pibara looks down at Broly, whose face is calm and in a state of sleep. That is until his white eyes open suddenly and stare back at Pibara. Broly was awake. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? Will Broly's mind be saved and he will gain some new powers? Will the Tournament of Power still be a thing? What with this man's strife distracting Goku being the main priority? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!